Oh yeah. Welcome in to Views from Your Stands. I am your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and we have a jam-packed Thursday night show. We're going to react to the NBA All-Star Weekend that was, and there already might be some new format changes coming, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to see that. Sticking with the NBA, we have a lot of big news coming out of it. We also have the second half of the season. After the All-Star break, we all know that's when the NBA really starts to heat up, and we're going to close out the show with one of our favorite segments we like to do, our DownBad Debate. We got a really fun one for you, as always. We're going to stick with the NBA theme as it's going forward. Without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce you to the guys that we are rolling with tonight. We got Mr. BC. Why don't you let the good people know what you have going on and how they can get a hold of you, my man?
I mean, sure, you guys already know we're about 30 episodes deep at this point. The missus and I, we got our little small business down here in Central Florida. Brandes.media, you know the drill. Wedding photography and videography, engagement photography and videography. We've got your senior photos, we got your family photos, whatever you guys want to capture to create those memories that last a lifetime. We got it here at Brandes.media. Check us out online and get your portfolios down there. See if we are what you want. We'll make it happen.
Oh, man, that sounds great. Sounds fantastic. It's a great company. Go ahead and reach out to them. And, of course, we got the GM in the building, Mr. G. Mike. Let everybody know how they can get some old-fashioned money going in their pocket, my man.
What up, baby? What up, baby? How y'all doing, man? Hey, if you guys are into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we charge $10 a month to get you winnings daily from $50 to $100 to $150. And if you're interested in that, you'll see the link pop up on your chat right now. Right there. Or if not, if you're watching the recorded episode, you see it pop up on your screen. Or if not, just hit me up on one of my DMs. You'll see my socials there on the screen as well. And we have a new thing that's going on in the Telegram where you can make 50% of the commission off of any single person that you bring in that they stay from a month to month basis. So it's making money for you guys, making money for us, and we're making money together with these sports gambles.
There we go, man. And hey, we want to give a special shout out to our other partner that we've been working with, and that's Varsity Sports Nation. Varsity Sports Nation is your premier sports and entertainment. If you want high school sports, they got you. If you want college sports, they got you. Here's the best part about Varsity Sports Nation, man. It's a convenience. They have a convenient app you can download on your iOS, your Android, your Apple TV, your Roku, Fire TV, YouTube, anything that you want to, and of course your socials. You can get them out there, and you can get us on demand and check out all the other great program. They have a lot of great content out there, so check them out. And while you are checking them out, give them a like and subscribe, as well as please give us a like and subscribe, man. We are getting so close to that coveted 100, so we can make our way up to 1,000. But right now we are sitting at 99, so we're making a call to action. Anybody out there watching, please, if you want to get us help, give us that one extra like and subscribe, and we can go ahead and get this thing going on, so we can keep it going for all of us. So we really appreciate all the love and support out there. But I don't know about you guys, but everybody came for me to do some sports. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. We are going to start with the baseball diamond, man, and we had some big news coming out. Mike, your New York Yankees making some moves today. They have re-signed Aaron Boone to a 2-year extension, which he'll put him there till 2027. Boone is a 4-time Manager of the Year winner and has a record of 603 and 429 with a 58% winning percentage, and has taken the Yankees to the World Series one time and as recent as last year and his 7 seasons. Mike, like I was saying before, you are the Yankees fan of us. How's your feeling on this extension, man? Are you happy that Boone is coming back for 2 more years?
Yeah, man. No, I love it. I mean, he like you said, like 4-time winner. I mean, he shows a lot of praise right there in New York. He does a lot for the team. He does a lot for the players out there on the field. They learn a lot from him, and the players love to play for him. And we just came off a loss for the World Series, but at least we got there. There's a lot of teams that can't say that they've been to the World Series, and we've been there many, many times. And now, just as recent, losing to the Dodgers, and it's funny because I got a Dodgers hat on right now. Can't see it, but I got it on right now. Nah, it was 50% off, baby. You can't beat that.
It goes with the shoes.
Yeah, you feel me?
And
it goes with the outfit. It goes with the outfit. The gym
there you
outfit. Go. But yeah, I think it's good for the Yankees for sure. He brings a winning attitude. He brings a winning culture. And, for us, all we need to do is be more consistent with hitting, man. And I think, we're making the World Series go to Game 7 instead of getting trampled like that.
All right, man. Yeah, I mean, spoken like a true Yankees fan, then you guys will always be back, So, Mr. BC, my man, I know
Wolf.
you're a Yankees fan, and nor am I. What's your thoughts on this one, man? This is your division. We're all, ironically, all AL East fans in here. BC, man, what's your thoughts, man, as a Rays fan?
I mean, I ain't gonna talk too much smack about the Yankees, but as far as like for a good signing though for Boone, it's a good match. He's a good manager. I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about him as far as the way he manages the team. From a baseball perspective, I think that he does a good job of blending enough analytics with the modern game or analytics with some of that old school, in the moment kind of mentality in the postseason. It's just like we talked about. It's just hitters weren't hitting in the World Series, and there was a lot of defensive errors. Can you really blame that on him? He's just trying to put the best guys out there. So I think from a managerial standpoint, you don't win. You're not a great manager if you don't have 4 Manager of the Year awards. So I think it's a good fit. And I think for the city overall too, he's got history there from his days as a player. And I think that his overall personality, mentality, I think it's just what the Yankees need. So I think that it's a perfect fit overall.
Yeah, so I don't like to remember some of the fond memories of Aaron Boone, considering that some of them came against the expense of my Red Sox. But no, I mean honestly, like you were saying too, it's I think it's a good move for the Yankees. At least they lock him up for 2 more years. I do think that Boone, this I don't think, considering that he will get anything past that point if this doesn't work out. They've been to the ALCS 3 times out of the 7 years, which is a great record. But as a Yankees fan or any kind of Yankee fandom, that's not enough. If you make it 3 times, then we should have at least 3 championships. And so I think that Boone is definitely on the hot seat, even though he did get an extension. That's the New York Heat, the Yankees Heat. You're never going to be in a safe spot unless you have more championships. And 7 years, 3 ALCSs and no championships. I'm honestly kind of surprised they actually re-signed him. I thought they was going to be done after the collapse of the playoffs last year. It wasn't his managerial fault, but the players didn't show up, and that's kind of what the manager's there for. So I think it's a decent move for the Yankees. They got stability, but
that's the thing right there. That's what it is. That's stability. That's what it is.
I think they got stability, but I don't think that seat is very cold for Aaron Boone. I think that seat is going to be extremely hot if in these 2 years he doesn't make it. There's no way he's getting another extension after that.
Yeah, and I think that's just an issue overall, though, too. I wouldn't say the reason why they haven't winning World Series has anything to do with him. I think he's a great manager. I think, like we said, it's, yes, I think that the manager does bear some responsibility with the players, but I think the front office, too, like signing a lot of these guys that, they sign these exorbitant contracts on guys that they don't pan out in 1 or 2 years. And it's like, can you really blame Boone to a certain extent if they're not, you can coach them until you're blue in the face. If they're not listening, they just all they care about is dollar signs. Is that really on him? Because I've seen him in some crunch times make some really great decisions, and I've also seen those same players that did great in one situation come out here and then make 2 or 3 errors in a row the next time. So it's like, how much of that is really on him?
Yeah, and I also kind of feel like it's something that needs to be said as well, is that if you take like I was saying before, I'm a Red Sox fan. They haven't made the bigger moves that the Yankees and Dodgers had, but the difference is in the situation is that with the Yankees, I think their Yankees are living too much on that we are the Yankees and people want to come here and people want to play for us still, and that's not necessarily working as much anymore. The Mets, for example, are spending a lot of money getting players in there. You got the Dodgers that are just stockpiling guys in. LA's a beautiful city, and on top of it too, they're deferring everybody, so everybody's going to get paid, and they can keep on adding, and they know they have a chance to win. I think New York and Boston are the kind of the same boat, ironically, that it's time to move into the new era that people don't care that you've won 27 championships if you haven't won one recently. People don't care that the Red Sox are, one of the bigger teams in the league and have been around for years. So I think that the Yankees and Red Sox, if we're talking about baseball in this one, they both need to move into the future and not keep on living in the past of what they've done in the past.
Yeah. G Mike, what you think?
No, man. Again, I just think it was like if we win the World Series, it's a whole different conversation right now.
Yeah,
we're giving praise. Correct. We're giving praise to Boom, and we actually probably signed them 2 more years.
Yeah.
But we didn't end up doing that, and in my opinion, it had to do with the hitting. Yes, you could put the blame on the manager for sure that he should be coaching a little bit better, getting them to hit more consistently. But then again, we got to be putting it on the players as well. You're going out there against some superstar pitchers in the LA Dodgers, and you can't seem to get on base. And it's like, what the manager can only do so much. The players got to go out there and execute. And it's like,
I would say though too, when you say as well, somebody that has a little bit more impact on the hitting is going to be the actual hitting coach, like the guy that's in his job title. Like manager, you're kind of overseeing a little bit of everything, but day to day stuff, that's on your hitting coach to get it done. Like if he's not doing his job, I will say this: if he hasn't been, if Boone, you haven't been seeing your hitters hit in the clutch, maybe you need to start examining your staff and maybe hold them under a microscope a little bit more, and maybe be a little bit quick to fire them. Just like if your seat's gonna be hot, I think their seat needs to be just as hot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's going to be definitely an interesting signing as we'll be definitely getting into a lot more baseball talk. The grapefruit leagues start tomorrow and all over the country. Places are going to start having spring training get into full swing here. So we'll be getting into a lot more baseball talk here very soon. But big news coming out of New York, though, that Aaron Boone will be back for 2 more years at least. All right, fellas, man, not to be outdone at all because we're going to move from the diamond and go to the octagon. And, man, UFC, they put together one heck of a morning this morning. All right, so with UFC's got some major news coming out this morning that it is around the champion, our boy, man, Ilia Topuria. So Topuria finally is going to move up in class. He's been quoted by saying that it's getting too hard to stay down at the the featherweight division. He's just dominated this thing 16-0 and has looked unstoppable. So he's going to be moving up to lightweight, which is humongous news. And after that happened, Dana White does not waste any time with the press at all. He announced some major moves coming out. So let's go ahead and get to it. UFC 314 just gets announced, and none other than Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez are going to get the title shot for the vacant featherweight championship, man. And if you look at this card here, and if you can't see it on the screen, this card is going to be ridiculous. I mean, you got Volkanovski and Lopez, you got Michael Chandler and Patty Pimblton, and this will finally be Patty finally getting that big stage. He's a co-main event. He's
in Miami, baby.
A lot of people's been saying he's trying to be too much like Conor McGregor, or UFC's trying to promote him as the new McGregor. He hasn't been as dominant as McGregor was in that one. That also you got Yari Rodriguez and the Pitbull coming over from Bellator. Jeff Neal on here, man. This card is just ridiculously stacked, and I cannot wait for this one. But there's more news coming, but I just want to get you guys this quick reaction real quick to just this right here. And, of course, it's coming up, and I want to say in the middle of March and the beginning of April with what's coming next. But quick reaction to that. All that going on, man.
G Mike.
Well, just to start off with Topuria first.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that he moves up a weight class. He's been dominating that weight class, so he's moving up and he's challenging himself. He's going to go up, and most likely they're talking about that he's going to fight Islam first. And if he fights Islam, they have him. I saw it today. They have him as a betting favorite at -180, and then they have Islam at +260. Now, I don't think that he's going to be Islam because
I don't either. I think he's going to have. I think he's going to have to at least get one fight on his belt before he gets that automatic title shot. But
yeah, I think he's going to do work in that weight class for sure. But like, one thing I don't agree with that he should just go and fight the champ if you're moving up weight class. I know it's because of popularity and they're trying to make money off of it to see the champ going against the champ for sure. But, like I feel like the dude in second, the dude in third should have a shot at the title fight. But whatever, that's no here nor there. Just talking about that fight alone, I don't know, man. I don't see Islam losing to Topuria at all, honestly.
Oh, we got time. We got time to digest.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go too into it. That's why I didn't go too into it. But
quick reaction, real quick. We want to also make sure we're checking with the fans real quick. And we got Patty being Patty. No, which I agree. Patty is not Conor. He's not by any stretch. I'm just saying a lot of people have been trying to compare the publicity he's been getting in like his rise, almost kind of like a different version of like what Conor was. And I'm not saying they're the same fighter or even same character, but I just think that's how UFC is trying to portray them. They kind of both came from nowhere and have made like now Patty's hasn't looked that dominant in the last few fights, and now he's also getting a co-main event. So I'm just saying, I think that there's a lot to digress with that one, but I'm just saying, man, that card looks awesome though, man. Look, shout out to Dana White for, you have some crazy news happen that one of your top fighters is moving, and then you can come up with this right here as like, okay, don't worry, we got it covered. Volkanovski and Diego Lopez, man, I am so stoked for that fight. Diego Lopez is one of my favorite fighters, but I love Volkanovski as well. How can you not like Volkanovski if you're a UFC fighter? Oh, I can't. We got time. We can't. We can't do it now, man. We cannot do that one now. There's a lot I want to look over for it. But that is going to be exciting.
No, it's going to be a dope card. And I love Miami. I'm gonna see what's up, dog. See what's up, man. I don't know, man. Them tickets be expensive as shit, though.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely expensive. And that's Dana White too. He's gonna always go for. We talked about it earlier. Torre. He should have to go through the class. Dana White's gonna put on what sells the most money, and I love him for it. It's a two-edged sword. Sometimes you might be a little dissatisfied. Why don't we have this matchup or that matchup? It ain't gonna draw money. These fights for sure are gonna draw money, and I'm most excited for Patty the Batty. I love his story. I love who he is.
Patty
the whole.
Batty.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. Yo,
say that again, please.
I'm just saying,
that's what it goes by, Patty the Batty. It's
hilarious.
Yeah.
If you've seen that man's weight cuts, like how he comes into camp and then how he just shreds himself to the bone,
that's
crazy.
That's insane, though. How he does that? That's insane.
I just love him for that because, if you can make a career out of that and you can somehow win and be dominant at some point, I'm all for it. And plus, like I said, I love fitness and nutrition. So seeing just some dude scarfing down burgers and crisps, as they say, and over across the pond, and you're just able to go from that to just drop 40 pounds or whatever in an off season, that's amazing.
Like I was saying before, that is
tough, man. That's crazy to do.
Oh God, yeah.
Hard to do.
We got to do an episode one day on weight cutting,
man. And that's what we were talking about with Dana White, giving the fans what they want here, man. So then that was it. That wasn't all the news that coming out. So we got another two main event announcement today, man. And that is going to be Muhammad versus JDM. And this one's going to be a banger as well, man. These dudes, I guarantee they probably will not be going to the ground at all. They'll just be straight full on swinging haymakers everywhere we go in this fight. That's going to be a fight as one hell of a fight. I am very excited about that one. It is going to be awesome as well. But we also got one more that got announced, and man, this one is just as exciting as well. It's going to be for the flyweight championship. You got Shevchenko versus Fiorot, and damn, man, I cannot wait for this fight. And honestly, I was expecting to see Shevchenko versus Wei Ling. That was the big thing they were hoping for, which is still possibly going to be in the works depending on the outcome. And that one's going to be probably one of the greatest women's fight of all time if they have to go at it. But what do you guys, after all that announcements there, and also they also have coming up as well, Leon Edwards and Brady are going to get it on too, man. So, dude, UFC is in great position. And let's not forget, in about 2 weeks from now, you got Pereira coming up with his title defense again. So, dude, UFC is in such a great spot right now. And Dana White just knows how to promote these things. And it just seems like after you're done, how they're going to top this. And then it's okay, well, I got you. Hold my beer. Here's another one. They are really doing doing great out there. But quick reaction as well, because like I was saying, we're going to break these down a little bit when they get closer to the actual fight night. But out of those two main events right there, which one are you more excited about, Muhammad or Shevchenko?
Shevchenko.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've only seen Muhammad fight a few times. So
yeah,
I've seen Shevchenko fight more than a few times, and anytime she fights is very exciting.
Yeah, she's one of the most accurate strikers in UFC history. She wastes no kicks, no punches. If she's throwing something, it's because it's there and it's most likely going to land. Yeah, she is absolutely amazing women's fighter, man. So
she has star power.
Yeah,
all over her.
100%, man, 100%. And that's that, man. That is going to be one heck of a 2 pay-per-views, man. I cannot wait for both of those ones. All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and leave the octagon. Unless you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about that one, because we will be breaking those down more when they actually get closer to the fight. You guys got anything else for final thoughts on those?
Just excited, baby. We got UFC fights for a month and a half straight.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. All right, so then we had some other really, really random news in the NBA. We're going to go and start this one off with Mr. Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis, if you haven't heard the news, is
that
now
picture you got.
Huh? Yeah, right. See,
very fitting.
That face says it all
very
right now.
Fitting for what the hell we're talking about right now.
All right, so this is
that's exactly the picture that they took right when they found out.
This is a very interesting situation here, man. All right, so if you haven't heard yet, because this just happened about 4 or 5 hours ago, the NBA is suspending Bobby Portis for 25 games for their anti-drug policy. So according to Portis, what happened was, you see what had happened. What happened with Bobby Portis is that he was actually taking a prescription which is for what was it? Sorry, excuse me. I had it written down here, and I should know this one. Oh, he was taking Toradol, which is a legal, according to the NBA, on their drug policy. You are allowed to do it as an anti-inflammatory for recovery. What happened, according to him, is that he accidentally took Tramadol, which is a controlled substance, which he popped positive for. It was only a one-time thing, according to him. He's never failed any other drug test in any time in his career. He's suspended without pay, mind you, and he's going to lose about $2 million for taking this drug. G-Mike, do you think the crime fits the punishment of what's going on with Bobby Portis?
If that is the truth, that it was by accident, I don't think that he should get suspended at all. And I don't think that he should get fined. I know that there has to be an investigation that goes about that. And they can't just, come down to a conclusion right away. But if he's saying, because it was his assistant coach that gave him the
correct,
they don't just grab stuff; they get the stuff given to them. So if all that is true, why are we suspending the guy? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I get it. We're trying to be double down on everybody taking some performance enhancing drugs, but
this is neither one of those two either, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, it was an accident. So it's like,
what? I'll play devil's advocate with it as well. I that's my trait. That's what I do. Besides this, is I work in the pharmacy. So they do sound very much alike, and there would most likely be some sort of sticker saying "look alike, sound alike," because that is a very common thing. Now, if you have to play the bad guy in it somehow, it's also like, okay, man, so if you happen to take some HGH and it's like, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to do that, and now I'm 50 pounds stronger and recovered so much faster. So I understand why they're coming down on him, because there has to be some sort of rules or regulation you have to follow. But having said that,
a performance enhancing drug, correct?
Right, correct, and that's difference, right? And that is a major difference. Now, Tramadol would just basically be a mild form of a painkiller. And so it's an unfortunate situation. And I will give Bobby Portis credit. He hasn't made a huge stink. He hasn't made calling NBA out or anything. He said, you know what, I screwed up. I should have been paying attention. I am responsible for what goes in my body. So he's not blaming anybody. He was like, it's very unfortunate. His agent, the coach, everybody has come out on his side and saying he's not that kind of guy. This is unheard of. And it was an honest mistake. But I will give him credit. He has manned up and been like, ultimately, it is on me. I put it in my body. BC, man, what's your thoughts on this? This is a crime, minus the punishment.
No, I would tend to agree with George a little bit on this. And also, too, if you want to suspend the guy potentially while the investigation's going on, okay, maybe you could make that argument. But it's like, why are we fining him already when it's like, yo, like this investigation has not really concluded yet. Like, we haven't really fully looked into it. Why are you bringing up in terms of money? And now, if it turns out that, foul play or he's guilty, like, yeah, sure. Like, then you can start talking about fines. If you maybe want to take away a little bit of suspension or whatever, or do a little bit of a suspension, fine. But don't start taking the guy's money away until you've actually proven, okay, he's guilty or he's not. Or I would even be open to the case of, while you're investigating, let him play. And then maybe then, if he is found guilty, suspend him. Like, if it actually is malfeasance or whatever in it, then suspend him. Like, I don't know why it has to be, let's suspend first, ask questions later. Like, no.
Exactly.
Ask the question first.
Exactly. And now, like, pertaining to how this is going to affect the team in this last second half of the season, because each team in the NBA right now only has anywhere from 24 to 27 games left in the season. So he suspended 25 games. He's not going to get back into the NBA playoffs. So what does this mean for the Bucks? Their chemistry is going to be lost. He's going to be rusty when he comes back. And now the Bucks are going to play with another player that's going to play more minutes in his replacement. And it's just going to be a whole cluster, a whole cluster mess. And it's like, like just like BC said, like, investigate it first. And then if you come to the conclusion later on during the season, you don't want to suspend them for the playoffs. So you suspend them in the beginning of the next season. Like, it's as easy as that.
Yeah, or if you do find him guilty and you want to make a statement, then it's like, okay, yeah, now, yeah, congratulations, you got him for those regular season games or whatever. Now you actually will miss him for the playoffs, and it does mean something. You're sending an even bigger message at that point by withholding the punishment until you actually prove it. Like that's how it should be.
I don't know, man. I just think it sucks for Milwaukee for sure. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. And it's not like if they find out, after everything, like, oh, hey, sorry, it's not as bad as we thought. They can't give them those games back. You can't go back and change time. You can't go back and reverse that chemistry. Like the damage is done.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, man. And that is a lot. Again, Bobby Portis, let's face it, he's not your marquee player that's going to be making a bunch of money. $2 million of lost pay. That's definitely going to hit the pockets on him. And I guess it's for every major one of these sporting organizations, they got to figure out punishments correctly, man, because there's so many times the crime is one thing and you get 4 games and then you do something else and it's 50 games or something, like it's just unfortunate. If this guy had a history of failing drug tests or something, then okay. And on top of it too, like you were saying, it was not performance enhancing drug. So at worst case scenario, it might have made him play worse because he would feel like crap because, taking the controlled substance that he was taking is definitely not going to make you feel like you can run better. You're not going to shoot the ball better because you took that, if anything, it would make him feel worse or his game might be a little bit off. So it's really tough because, yes, he did do something wrong. So I think there should be something, but I think 25 games is a huge, an overstep. Over for what it was. Now, if he got, like I was saying, HGH an example, or some other form of drug, then okay, throw it at him. That makes sense. But come on, man, like that one isn't really. And what's wild too is that in the NBA they don't test for weed. So let's get this straight now. He can show up to this place high, but don't be high on something that's a controlled substance that's gonna make you feel a little bit better, possibly. Like, come on, man. Like they gotta figure this stuff out. It's not really fair, and they gotta just work it out, I suppose.
Yeah, they definitely are behind on doing this stuff. It seems like they just kind of implement something at the beginning and it's like, oh yeah, it's great, it's fine. But instead of fine tuning it, they just kind of slack off and just wait for something like this to happen and then say, oh, okay, yeah, now we'll fix it. It's like you could have handled this like 5 years ago.
Why would just now figure it out? According to Doc Rivers, though, this happened, like this test happened a while ago, and he was prescribed, so he was actually prescribed the Toradol. So even worse, this happened a little while ago, and so I don't know how long it was in the system or what the case may be or something. So that's a little interesting aspect of it as well, is that this wasn't like it happened yesterday or something. So
okay, so they did an investigation then.
Apparently,
if it happened a while ago, that means that they've done it.
According to Dr. Rivers, I mean, who knows? So he could just be trying to make it in light of something. I'm not 100% sure, but the investigation had said that he popped, and there's not much.
So let's go off of that. Right? So it's been a while. They've been doing the investigation. They come to a conclusion that it was an accident, and they still give him 25 days without it being a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah, I could go with 10 games. Maybe 10 games, cut it in half, or something like that. But I think that's just a little bit too much.
Yeah, just give him a little slap on the wrist and be like, yeah, next time don't screw that up. But
and then just to put this out there, I know there's 2 different situations, but just to put this out there, Jackson Hayes was seen slapping his girlfriend.
I was waiting.
The guy hasn't been suspended 1 game, and everybody saw that because it was all over Twitter, it was all over IG. I'm pretty sure everyone in the NBA saw that video, and nothing has happened to that guy.
Don't take prescription drugs.
What are we doing?
Don't take prescription drugs, kids, but you can slap your girl all you want.
Yeah, so that's where we're getting at with the crime. They got to figure out how they're doing this stuff. I mean, the NFL. I mean, not even a different organization, but the NFL has been yelled at so many times because they cannot get this straight either. With their domestic violence, you got your DUI cases, you got all this different stuff. They cannot figure this stuff out. They really have to come to grips with it because sometimes the crime doesn't always fit the punishment.
So not to give the NFL an excuse, because I don't think there's an excuse at all for domestic violence, but these dudes get hit in the head so many times during week to week to week. So their head is not on straight. It's not screwed on straight. Basketball players have no excuse, and this guy's still doing it.
Yeah. It's definitely a TBD. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to.
Same standard across the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's able to appeal this at all and further if there's any kind of extra investigation or anything else that he can do, or this is just set in stone. You're getting your 25 and we're going to move on. All right. Well, we also have another major story. This has got to be one of the biggest stories of the day, honestly. The San Antonio Spurs have announced that Victor Wembanyama is shut down for the season after getting diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis. And basically, in layman's terms, it comes out to a basically blood clot in his right shoulder. This is extremely serious for this young man, and it is an absolute shame because Victor Wembanyama is just kind of coming to his own. He's only in the second year, just got him off the All-Star. It is an absolute shame. Mr. BC, what's your thoughts on this, man? You got to feel bad for him.
No, it sucks. It's horrible. Like, this is something we talked about before the show. This is career threatening right here, life threatening potentially as well. What happened to Chris Bosh, and to see it happen to somebody whose career is just starting and it's had so much potential. Like, I hate it. This is a guy that was supposed to be the face of the league along with Luka, for the next like 10, 15 years, and now potentially he could have it all taken away from him like that. It's not fair. It's really not.
Yeah. So most of the time, what happens in this situation, it's life-threatening in the aspect that anything can happen. But most of the time, what happens is they'll put you on some sort of blood thinner. The problem with that is that when you're on these blood thinners, athletes any kind of people cannot really have any kind of bodily contact as far as any kind of roughhousing, something along those lines, because your blood is so thin. If you get cut, you get hit, you get hurt, you're gonna bleed out. And so this is absolutely a devastating blow to him, and they're going to really have to try to figure out what they're going to be able to do. Like you already mentioned too, as well, Chris Bosh. This is kind of what derailed him. Now he was a little bit older when this happened, so Bosh was slightly on the way out. But having said that, though, you don't want to see it in like that off a player that was, such a great player. Real quick before I go to you, Mr. G, Mike, as we are live right now, USA Canada, the hockey series is going on right now. USA just tied it up 1-1. So
USA.
All right, so Mr. G, Mike, man, what's your thoughts on this Wembanyama story, man? This is wild.
Oh, you watching hockey, eh?
Oh yeah, eh?
Oh man, bro, I really feel bad for him, bro. Like, you don't want to see, especially a young star talent like this, have a career-threatening injury like this. There's still hope for him. They're gonna set him out for the rest of the season, so he's gonna be able to rest and obviously get more tests done. See his shoulder getting looked at and all that stuff. But just for the future, man, you don't want this to happen to anybody. It could be an NBA player, it could be a regular person on the street, it could be whoever. You don't want to see that happen to anybody, especially when they're very active in their life, and then you tell them, yo, now you can't be active no more because of this and that. That is really, like, it messes up with your mind, bro. Like, I wouldn't imagine if someone told me, yo, you can't play basketball, you can't play football, you can't do any sports, you can't lift no more because of something like it. That would be like very detrimental. I think that could cause a lot of depression as well. But hopefully, it's just a little setback for this year, and then he comes back in October stronger.
Yeah,
he's able to play, man, and able to move down the line. And just to take it to the team's aspect, it's gonna suck for the Spurs. I mean, they were trying to make a little play-in push going into the playoffs with trading for De'Aaron Fox. They were looking pretty good before the NBA All-Star break, and now this is just gonna set them back. But I would say, Fox, dude, you have a messed up thumb. I think now is the time to get that surgery, brother, because you're losing your all-star center, and it's gonna be detrimental to your team. I don't think you guys are gonna win a lot of games. So I would say shut it down, get that surgery that you need to get, and move on to the next season, man. And then for the Spurs, man, try to get a lottery pick, try to get some trades, try to get some draft picks. I don't know, but it sucks on both sides. It sucks for Wemby, man, and it sucks for San Antonio.
It's such a shame too, because last week we were just talking about how, man, I think they made, or I'm sorry, George and I were talking about it, how well we think this is going to work out for the Spurs. This is the best trade of the trade deadline. I think this is going to be the way of the future. They're going to be winning some championships, and you get something like that. And you know what? And I feel really bad, and you never want this to happen to anybody. But it sucks for Wembanyama, because Wembanyama was already only, 20 years old, maybe 21 at the max. already getting the reputation of being a hard worker. He goes to bed at 7:30 at night. He reads books. He only wants to ball, and he wants nothing to do with the limelight. And he was doing everything right that you want in a young superstar. It's going to be the face of the franchise. And something like this that could possibly derail him, you just have to feel bad for the guy. And it just stinks that it's the one guy that really does seem like he's trying to do it right, and something like this happens, man.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I was just saying, and it's not fair. You know, if there's that one guy that you want to see that you feel like kind of deserves to be the face of the league, and it just kind of it gets taken from him like that.
Yeah.
It's not right. But again, you know, like we talked about, and I will say this: for as much as I think us and maybe even some like older NBA fans, like they might talk about how, oh, you know, load management, the league is soft, and this and that. I will say that this is a good thing that they were able to catch something like this, because maybe in older times they would have said, oh, just play through it or whatever. They wouldn't have even probably found this back in the 90s or 80s. So it's a good thing. This is the one time where I'll say, you know what? It's good that he's shutting down early. Take care of your health. Get yourself right. If you can get well enough for next year, go for it. If not, take the time you need. Get yourself right, because nobody wants to see a life cut. You know, as tragic as it would to see a career cut short by something like this, what's worse is to see a life lost because of something like this. So, you know, I hope he's able to get all the medical attention he needs as far as to take care of this issue. And like we said, he comes back stronger next year, dominates, tears it up, and he just gets right back to where he left off.
Yeah, unfortunately for him too, he is now ineligible for the Defensive Player of the Year, which he was a strong candidate for. I guess the story was that after the All-Star game, he went back to San Antonio and was saying something that he's felt kind of funny. He just, you know, like you were saying, BC, they took it serious and actually, you know, paid attention to what was going on. And that's how they diagnosed him with what was going on. So good call on the Spurs for actually paying attention to listening to your players. Just such a shame for Victor Wembanyama that he's going to be shut down for the season. And hopefully he's able to figure it out, whatever they got to do to get him to be able to get back on the court, because life is way more important than that, obviously.
I know we saved this stuff for, you know, like kind of final thoughts for the end of the show, but I will say, folks, if there's any time you're feeling a little funny, feeling a little off, get yourself checked out. Like take anything, even something that might seem slight, take it seriously, because you never know what could be going on, and just your health and wellness, it should come first and foremost in life.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well said, man. All right, well, we'll keep it moving with the sports here, and as you guys already know, there was an All-Star game a couple days ago, and another one came, another one went. Mr. G Mike, what was your thoughts on what they called an All-Star weekend, man? You'll go ahead and start us off with this. I know you were pretty passionate last week about it, man.
I thought the skills challenge was whack. The fact that they disqualified CP3 and Wemby because of what they were trying to do. I mean, it doesn't really. I guess it does say it in the rules that they can't do that, but it's like it's more like a loophole type thing. Yeah. Whatever, I'll move on. I thought the 3-point contest was good. I mean, you know what you're gonna get with a 3-point contest. They're out there shooting threes, and who's gonna make the most threes wins. And I called it, baby. Skyler Hill, baby, representing for the 305, baby. The dunk contest, I would say it was pretty entertaining. It wasn't bad for sure. It was dope to see Mike McClellan jump actually over the car. You know, I thought that was pretty sick. But even then, I think they gotta make it a little more entertaining. I think it was just it was all right, you know, but it was entertaining. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I feel like they could ramp it up for sure. And then with the NBA All-Star games, with the little tournament that they did on Sunday, bro, that thing was horrible, bro.
Yeah,
horrible.
And too many breaks,
talk about, bro, these long breaks in between these games. I saw a post that there was 2 hours and 13 minutes in between the games with commercials and Kevin Hart talking and all this stuff. And then the actual games was just 30 minutes, man. It's like, bro, dude, just remove that. And I know we're going to talk about the ideas that they're trying to implement in a bit, but please remove that and never do that again.
Yes.
Never do that again.
Just never do that again. Never.
I'd rather have
your thoughts, man.
I was just gonna say I'd rather have the old All-Star game format than this.
Me too.
It was horrible. It was awful. And again, it's like you take an idea that was broken and you somehow find a way to make it even more broken. Like that's the real amazing that happens in the NBA. But I will say this: the dunk contest, though. I mean, of course, I'm gonna be happy. Mac McClung 3-peating right there. Osceola Magic represent. it's funny, they have a bobblehead giveaway the last game of the season. So if you guys are in the area, check that out. Is is him holding the 2 trophies. Now it's like, you guys are screwed. Now you got to have a third one in there somehow. Like, but it was very entertaining though. And I'm happy for the guy. And everybody that always, goes back to the '09 dunk contest, Blake Griffin jumping over the hood of a car, not an actual car. I think we talked about this. Mac actually went out there and did it. That's how you jump over a car, folks. Take notes. Cleared it. I think he clipped a little bit
No,
of
don't take notes. Do not try this at home. Please do not try this at home. Do not take notes. Do not try it. Just watch it on YouTube or wherever you watch it. Please do not do this.
Let me preface that. I'm speaking specifically to those that participate in these slam dunk contests that are trained professionals.
I don't know. You said folks. You're talking to everybody.
Folks. Yo, all right. NBA folks. There we go. That's how you do it right there. That's how there was one person that was entertaining all night, and it was Matt McClung. And I do agree. G-Mike, next year, let's spice it up a little bit with the dunk contest. Let's add, you got Matt McClung, a 3 in a row slam dunk contest. Let's see. So don't jump.
No, do not do
that. We're making this very
clear. I tried
clear.
That once. That's how I blew out my knee.
Views from the stands does not endorse jumping over cars.
Neither does Varsity Sports.
Neither does Varsity Sports or anybody.
Neither one. No, that's how I blew out my knee back in college. Now, but no, honestly, I want to see Matt go up against some real star power next year. Let's get somebody like. I call out Giannis. Let's get Giannis, or let's get LeBron. Like get some of these guys the actual star power going up against Mac next year in the dunk contest. I'd be all for it. And then, skills challenge was whack. I hated it. I would have loved to have seen Wemby and CP3 win on a technicality like that, a loophole like that. That would have been funny. Like
funny, right? Yeah,
it would have been great. The first time you implement these changes, and that's your result. Why not? For the novelty. And then 3-point contest, it's the old reliable. It's not gonna. It has, I think, the lowest floor and the lowest ceiling in terms of entertainment, but you need one of those events to kind of keep everything steady. And I was happy to see Tyler Hero get it. Gailey, one of us here, or we got 2 guys here that are happy with All-Star Weekend with their boys winning. So I'm good.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is with the All-Star, I'll go with the dunk contest. I didn't pay attention to the All-Star Weekend too much, honestly. I'll be completely honest. I had really not much desire to watch too much.
Because it's not entertaining.
I did see the highlights, whatever. And what really stinks for McClung and some of the other guys, it's not the fact of that they're doing bad dunks or anything. It's just the cachet and the star power. No one really cares about these guys doing these great dunks. McClung's done some great dunks, and what was it? Castleton's done. These guys went out there and tried. They were actually trying to do what they are. They just don't have the star power for someone to actually care about it. I think that's what the problem. But having said that, so there is some rumors and some changes that are supposed to be possibly coming our way. First and foremost, which I think is going to be a little bit different, is that it's going to be on NBC, not on TNT anymore. So NBC, and I think NBC is going to run a lot tighter ship of a program than TNT, and they're not going to care about having Kevin Hart come out for the gazillionth time, who has nothing to do with the NBA. And let me guess, because he's short, we have to laugh at this.
And he was faded. Faded. Did you hear what he said to Shaq?
Yeah, I'm sure. I know. I really didn't. I wasn't even paying attention to it, but
this guy,
I missed it.
Bro, this guy came up to Shaq. Shaq is standing next to him, next to Steph Curry before the start of the first game between the OGs and the Rising Stars. And he goes to Shaq, "Yo, why do you look like a porn director?" Bro, I'm like, bro, there's a bunch of kids watching this, bro. And you're out here saying that. Like, come on, bro. This is a family event. You're out here saying this, bro. Come on, man. Very unprofessional.
This guy doesn't know how to read the room very well. And it's his job as a comedian.
He was faded, bro. Everybody did this. Everybody was like, oh.
What are we doing here? So I think that's going to be one major change that is definitely coming without a doubt, that NBC is taking over, and I think NBC is going to run a lot tighter of a ship, and it's probably be a lot more based off of basketball. Another thing that is going to be coming that is absolutely going to happen is that the start time will be earlier. NBC is also going to be having coverage of the Olympics at the same time. So the Olympic coverage is going to end, and then that's going to lead into the All-Star weekend and the All-Star game itself. So it's going to be starting starting around 5 o'clock, which is something that a lot of people has been asking for because it starts at 8:30. You have a bunch of pregame stuff. Game doesn't tip until 9. You have 3 hours of, like you were just talking about before, of all these entertainment stuff they keep on trying to add. So that's going to change. NBC is putting it on at 5 o'clock, which is a good time. It'll work better. It'll work. And personally, I think it'll work better for the NBA All-Star because you'll be able to get those people out that are at the bar a little bit. You'll be able to get, you'll have something to do on a Saturday, and it's not going to waste the rest of your night. So I think that's actually going to be really good for them. So some of the big formats to the changes of the actual game itself is that I actually brought this up last week, and a lot of people have been floating out there. It is basically going off of how the success of this NHL tournament that they did. But the new thing that they're floating out there is a USA versus the world game opposed to playing just the East versus West. I think that'll be a really cool idea. And I think that the USA players are going to show a lot of pride because the international players are coming for them, and the international players are gunning for them. And it's not going to be per country; it's going to be versus the world. So you'll have a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and a Jokic on the same team versus Team USA. So I think that's a really interesting, cool dynamic to the whole situation. And I think it might add a little bit of pride back to the All-Star game. It still hasn't really changed the incentive, whether or not what happens afterwards. If it's just about money, it doesn't really do anything for the fans. I've always wanted something, a draft pick. I don't know, whatever you come up with. I know you can't do that if you're doing Team USA versus the world, but I'm just saying if there's something else besides money, that doesn't do anything for me. I don't really care if LeBron gets another $1 million. I don't care if Steph gets another, 50 grand. I wish they could come up with something to get incentivize the fans to want to watch. But that's one thing that's being floated out there is Team USA versus the world. Number 2, and this one's going to be a cool one as well, is a 1v1 tournament. And actually, surprisingly, there's already been a lot of stars that's already said they're down for this one. It's up to a prize about $1 million is what they're floating around there. Anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million is what the rumors have been. James Harden, Giannis, and I'm trying to remember the other player has already said I'd be in. I believe it was Kyrie that they would be in for this. Which is very surprising, which is almost very contradictory of these superstars. You won't enter the dunk contest because you're afraid of losing, but you'll get crossed up on TV and get your ankles broken, which makes you look worse. Doesn't that make isn't that kind of contradictory? You guys think so? No?
Nah, because 1v1 is different from full court 5-on-5. It's completely
No. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I misspoke there. What I'm saying is that these guys would be down for a 1v1. But these same superstars won't enter the dunk competition because they're scared of losing or don't want to miss the shots. So you'll get your ankles broken 1v1 whenever Kyrie crosses you up, and that's okay, but you won't do the dunk contest because you're afraid of missing a dunk. Then that's kind of contradictory to me. I don't know.
I don't know if that's a reason because honestly, I wouldn't even believe that these superstars would miss a dunk, honestly. Maybe they won't be as creative as these other dunkers that have been in the dunk contest, but missing a dunk, I don't know.
Yeah, I just find it so weird though. You had like Kobe and Jordan, and some of the biggest names have done it. So like it's just kind of weird. But
it could just be wear and tear as well with dunking. Like I know Mac the whole season this year for Osceola, like he did not attempt a single dunk at all, except maybe like 1 or 2. Like in his pregame ritual too, like he used to always like jump up the rim and hang there for a little bit. He stopped doing that. He's trying to take care of himself for the dunk contest. So maybe injury prevention might be the thing. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Because I don't know a single player that's been hurt.
Don't want to get ridiculed on social media. I think they're too afraid of their brand being hurt than not. But the other major format that NBC is promising, and which we've already alluded to it a little bit as well, is there will be stars in the dunk contest. They have somehow, some way believe that they have a formula that's going to get stars to come in. John Morant has already kind of tried to lay it out there that McClung is making him want to dunk. Now, they always say that stuff at the moment. Who knows? But McClung, he was talking about he's invited Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, McClung, and I want to say Giannis out there. But there's already been some big name people that have they already kind of started planting the seed that, hey, we're going to bring this back. So kudos to NBC for maybe almost taking a little bit more serious. And I don't know if they have something behind the scenes and that's what they got going on. But Mike, man, out of those events, or you can choose all of them, man, what's your thoughts on this? Do you like this format, or do you think this will bring your interest back to the All-Star game or All-Star weekend?
So just speaking on the All-Star game itself, with the idea of USA versus the world, I think it's a good idea for sure. It's going to bring some competitiveness. I just like the old school East versus West, and just to make it more competitive, whoever wins that game gets home court in the NBA Finals. Yeah,
Sure.
do that. That's it. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna come to play. They're gonna make sure that they're gonna go out there and put on a show for the people because each side, the East or the West, they want home court advantage because they believe
Damian Lillard's already asked
every player believes that they're gonna make it to the NBA Finals. And if you don't believe that, you shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah, Damian Lillard's already floated that one out there to Adam Silver, saying that's something that might be able to get these guys back over the All-Star game.
100%.
I think that's a great
home court advantage in the NBA Finals. You go to Game 7, you're at the crib to win it all. 100%, bro. That would be the best.
That's what baseball used to do. So it's like, why not?
With the 1v1 tournament, I think it would be very entertaining for sure. I would just have to see what players are going to be in it because we don't want to see Jonathan Kuminga. We don't want to see Bobby Portis. We don't want to see freaking Kel Ware out there. No, we want to see the top level players that can actually play 1v1 ISO that you see on a 5v5 court. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, maybe if you got to throw some. If you're trying to make it all positions, then maybe Wemby. KD, like these players that can actually play 1v1. I don't want to see a player out there that can't play 1v1 for nothing. Like it's not gonna be entertaining. That's the only thing. And then with the dunk contest actually bringing in stars, yes, it would be more attracting to the fans. They'll be like, yo, Giannis is in the dunk contest. Yo, John Moran's in the dunk contest. Now I want to watch. But these players got to come with some creativity. Can't go out there and be doing the same dunks that have been done in the past because it's just like, all right, cool, through under the legs. I'm not saying that is easy. That shit is difficult, 100%. But, like we want to see creativity, which is why Mac McClung has won 3 years in a row because he's very creative.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Giannis has already said too, like I was saying before, that he's excited. He likes the 1v1 because it actually allows defenders to play some defense. And he was like, I think that's going to be something that could be a determining factor. What about you, BC? What are your thoughts on these things, man? Do you would these bring you back, or what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the USA world is intriguing for sure, and it like national pride and stuff like that. It's American sport. How does that compare to the rest of the world? Honestly, the way international talent at this point in time is the highest that his skill levels at the highest it's ever been. So that would be amazing to see. But I do also agree with G-Mike. Like, the best way I think to get the players to care about it is to give an incentive. And at this point, probably the only incentive that would make sense is home court advantage in the NBA Finals. And how funny would that be too? Where let's say a team breaks a Warrior, like let's say the Celtics break the Warriors record and go 74-8. And then they end up not getting home court advantage in the finals because East lost in the All-Star game. And you have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum who could have made an impact. That would be a really fun storyline. It'd be interesting. 1v1 tournament, I love the idea. I also think it'd be hilarious if you got like Trae Young versus Wemby. That would be a hilarious one-on-one matchup right there. Like the complete opposite. Like that is entertaining. And then the dunk contest, if you could get Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine in next year's dunk contest to challenge Matt McClung, I would love it. And how crazy would it be 10 years ago from the date of him first getting robbed in the dunk contest in 2016, AG comes back and wins it in 2026. Like that would be crazy. I would love it.
Be full circle for sure. I like those ideas. I floated last week on the show. If you want more thoughts on what we were talking about the All-Star game with that, then check out last episode for sure. But I think that America versus the world thing is a great idea. I've been pushing for that, and especially just the crowd reaction and how this tournament's been going for the hockey. I think that woke the NBA up that, hey, these guys are playing hard. Like there's a lot of pride going on. These guys are playing hard, and this is. It's not necessarily the All-Star game, but it's definitely a form of it, and they're playing. I mean, like that USA Canada game was wild. That first one. This is the second one in the finals. As of right now, we're in second period, 1-1 tie right now. But having said that, though, I think that'd be a good thing for it. And if they come up with some sort of thing for the fans for them to incentivize you to watch, that's awesome. I think the home court advantage thing is a cool idea. I'd be hard maybe to get the NBA players to sign off on that. But I think that's a start. Something kind of made to get them to come back and play because it's not the same. And also, if you heard during the All-Star weekend about the Draymond saying it sucks, and then Charles Barkley coming back, I totally agree with Charles Barkley. Be like, don't blame the NBA. It's you guys that did this. It wasn't our generation that did this.
Mhm.
It's nothing about
Yeah.
80s, 90s, 70s. It's you guys got lazy and didn't want to do it. So don't blame anybody and say this sucks.
Well, not Draymond's generation though, because Draymond came in 2011, 2012, and it was already. No, actually, it was still competitive then.
Yeah, no, it's
You're right.
definitely
You're right. You're
around
right.
that
It is his
class.
generation. 100% his generation.
Yeah, but
Doesn't want to blame him.
yeah. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and jump off the All-Star game because it was kind of beating a dead horse at this point, if you will. And we're going to go ahead and do our second half of the NBA
Beating a
season
dead horse.
prediction. You like that, huh? All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the East over here, fellas. And we also have games going on as we speak right now. So these are the standings as we speak right now at the moment. Of course, we have live games coming up, so this might change a little bit here. But Cleveland Cavaliers are on top right now at 44-10 with Boston right behind them. You got Orlando sitting in the 7th seed. The East is pretty tight, but do you guys, what's your predictions of the East, G Mike? Do you think it's going to stay this way? Do you believe in Cleveland? Cleveland's been one hell of a story, or do you think Boston's going to come back on them, or what, man? What's your thoughts on this?
Just to stick with Boston first, I don't think there's any team in the East that can beat Boston in a 7-game series. I don't see it. I think the Boston Celtics, they're going back to the NBA Finals, and I'll talk about a little about it more a little later when we talk about the West. But even then, I think they go back to back. I think they become champs once again. With just sticking with the East, Cleveland, yeah, they're gonna do work. They'll probably end up meeting the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't trust them to pull out 4 games against the Celtics. Some runner-ups would be the New York Knicks. The only thing with the Knicks is that their starters play so many minutes, and in the playoffs, it's gonna be tough to sustain that. Milwaukee, with this news of Bobby Portis, is gonna take a toll on them and their rhythm and their chemistry. And then I don't really like their defense. Their defense is pretty whack. Their offense is really good. I think the top 10 in the league right now when it comes to scoring, just like they were last year. But their defense is not solidified. They need some more perimeter defense, in my opinion. But some dark horses. I would like to the Pistons. I think they're going to do good. They could probably make it out the first round, depending on who they play. Getting to the second round, but I think that's where it stops there. Orlando, same thing. I think Orlando has amazing defense, but their offense is wishy-washy, is not consistent. And then the Indiana Pacers, they've been picking it up in the last few weeks. Actually, last month they picked it up a lot right before the NBA All-Star break, and you saw where they went to last season. They're a very complete team. They need that winning attitude, that winning culture over there to actually get over the hump, which we talk about with the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers, because I think those two will meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, man, I don't know. And then just talking about my Miami Heat, man. I think we finished maybe 1 game over 500. I went over the second half of the season, and we're probably gonna end this second half with literally right at the borderline at 500. The good thing is the last 4 games of the season, I think we win all 4 of them. And if we get into the play-in tournament or get into the playoffs, that's great momentum for us going into that. So I'm pretty stoked there. But just looking at the other teams, especially the first 12 games, I think we only win like 4 or 5 games. So it's gonna be tough for us, but hopefully, we can make the play.
BC, buddy, I know you're a Magic fan, but what's your overall outlook of the East right now, man? Cleveland, like we were saying before, Cleveland sitting on top. What's your thoughts, man? How the Magic going to weather the storm, or does this pretty much stay the same how it looks?
I mean, honestly, I feel like if we move up at all, it'll be maybe 1 spot to the 6th seed. But yeah, my outlook for the Magic is slightly more optimistic than G Mike's, but that's just because I think we're just a little bit younger. But overall, like, it's not much. Like, the offense still hasn't gotten better. It started off great, and then players got hurt, the momentum got derailed, and now we're struggling to be a play-in team at this point. So it's one of those seasons where I feel like for us, I was looking forward to building off this year or off of last year's success. I was thinking we could get 50 wins. I was thinking maybe top 4, top 3 seed even. But at this point, I'll we'll be lucky if we get a play, or we'll be lucky if we get a top 6 seed. It'd be like, congratulations, you won your play-in games, and now you get to get bounced in the first round by Boston or Cleveland. Take your pick. I know last year's Magic squad, they had a winning record against Boston in the regular season. I would not count that at all in the playoffs this year.
Different season, buddy. It's a different season.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and it'd be different if this team showed marked improvement in offense, but they're still one of the worst, if not the worst, offenses so far this year. So, as far as the rest of the East goes, Boston, I could see honestly Cleveland and Boston kind of staying as the top 2. Like, honest, top 3 will stay the same in my opinion. I think Cleveland will have a great regular season for sure, but we all know whose conference it is. It's Boston. They're going back to the finals in my opinion. So it's, but they'll probably coast a little bit just because I think in their minds they know they're the best team in the East. They don't need to win out. They don't need to have the 1 seed to prove it. They'll just have another finals appearance to show it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that for sure. As far as Orlando goes, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it. Whenever the trade deadline happened, you were out on that one with us. Yeah. Did you think that Orlando should have made more moves, or were you happy with what they did by not making a move?
They should have made more moves. I thought there should have been more of an interest in getting De'Aaron Fox. They should have had an interest in going out there and getting somebody that can spark something on offense. Like, again, spacing the floor. I know the big offseason move was getting KCP. A lot of people have dogged on me whenever I've talked about maybe we should trade for Trae Young. But it's like we're gonna sacrifice the one thing that we need most, which is spacing, for just more defense, more ISO ball movement. It's you gotta have something. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and just expecting, Jalen Suggs at some point is going to be a 30-point scorer. He's Suggs, Wagner, and Banchero are your core for sure. But you're telling me that you can't lose Wendell Carter Jr. or Cole Anthony or Anthony Black or even KCP or even Goga Bitadze. Like, you can't lose those guys. They are that crucial. Jonathan Isaac, they're that crucial to the team. They're that much of a needle mover that you need to keep them while neglecting your biggest glaring need, which is outside shooting. I don't understand it. We have the assets. We have the ability to make a trade happen. I'm just bewildered why we just keep trying the same old thing. It's insanity. It really is.
Maybe other teams don't want them. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
it could be.
You can't trade if anyone wants to dance with you.
Yeah, if no one wants the players, how are you going to get rid of them?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where you throw in draft picks. Like, you could always throw in a couple firsts the next couple of years, and I'd be willing to give up a couple firsts and maybe like a Cole Anthony for Trae Young. I'd be willing to do that because he moves the needle, I think, enough on offense to counteract any defensive deficiencies, and that's why you have Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is your main perimeter defender. He can easily pick up for Trae Young's deficiencies. So, like, why not?
Maybe they believe in the young core and they don't want to move on from that. Maybe they're like, you know what? Let's not be impatient. Let's wait a little bit and see where this is going to take us. Because you guys have improved year to year since Banchero has been there. So,
yeah. Well, and I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not saying you trade. For me, Banchero, Suggs, and Wagner are all off the table. But, like, for guys like Cole Anthony that are still there, he's been there since 2020. Wendell Carter Jr., same thing. Even, I love Goga Bitadze. I love Jonathan Isaac. But those guys have their ceilings. And I feel like if you want to take that next step, you might have to start cutting some of those guys, even if, it's depth. It's like, okay, well, you got to have somebody that moves the needle on offense. And if you're not getting it with your current crop of guys, like, you gotta be willing to trade some depth for some talent at some point.
Yeah, I feel like with like the East, it's pretty much been Boston's show for the last 5 years or so, something like that.
Whoa!
I mean,
chill, doggy.
I'm saying, I mean, come on.
We've been to the finals 2 times in the last 5 years. Hold on. I'm not gonna take that disrespect.
Come on. I mean,
Mike's got 2 more appearances to speak of as well.
Miami did their thing. They had a hell of a run. They did beat Boston. It's just honestly the consistency factor has to be Boston in this situation. But but the Cavs, man, I'm really interested in the Cavs. I'm very impressed with how they've been playing this year. I kind of thought that if you remember back going into the season, they almost had that little bit of drama with Darius Garland being like, I kind of almost want to be the guy. Was Donovan Mitchell going to leave, and then Donovan Mitchell comes back. They were coming up to possibly trading Darius Garland. They were able to work together now, and it seems like it's clicking and gelling fantastic. I really like the way Cleveland's playing. I do think they'll have a problem with Boston shooting. Boston, if they go on one of those runs where they're shooting threes, you can't. You have to match them, or else you're not going to beat them. I was watching the game before we went live, and it was pretty much. I think Peyton Pritchard was 5 of 6 from 3 already, and he's a bench guy. It's outrageous what they're able to do if they're in the zone. And Tatum was feeding everybody the ball this game, so it's more of a Tatum assist game. They can beat you in so many ways, and they can play defense if they need to as well. So Boston is just so complete in the East. They have to be the favorite, but I really like the way Cleveland is playing. I'm not going to lie, and I can definitely foresee a Cleveland and Boston Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Knicks, like you brought to as well, the Knicks just don't have much for bench, and unfortunately for them, that was what we were saying before going into it. Is just their core is good, but if one of those guys gets hurt, they're pretty much done. I feel like they don't have much for reserves, and on top of the two, the guys that they do have, I just don't see them being able to match. I don't even think they can beat Cleveland in a 7-game series, to be honest with you. So I think it's pretty much going to stay at the top with the way it is right now in the East. Someone could make a surprise. How about Detroit, man? Detroit's finally possibly going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So good for Detroit, man. Maybe Detroit sports is finally turning around. They got the Lions doing pretty well. Almost going to the Super Bowl the last 2 years. And then you got the Detroit Pistons. They've been so abysmal for so long. They're not great, but hey, Cade Cunningham's doing his thing, and it seems like that was a great pick for him. But good for Detroit for finally getting some good news coming in that area.
They play hard, bro. They play hard, man.
Yeah. They're playing like that old school Pistons kind of style.
Yeah, for real.
You guys got anything else for the East, or you want to move on to the West?
Ready for the West, man.
West Side.
Wild West.
There we go. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the West, man, because the West always seems like it has been the best, even though Boston did win it last year. The West.
Man, that was a bar. No, hold on. Say that again. Put that back. Run that back, GJ.
That back. No, it's the West is the best, man. So. But yeah, man. Yeah, OKC sitting on top at 44-10. Memphis. How about Memphis out there now? Got 38 and 36 and 18. That's a kind of a shocker in here. And Denver, I think always kind of just hangs out in that 2 or 3 seed. Like no matter what, they might make a run and make to the 1 seed. But Denver, that's like their permanent landing spot. But I have to say the biggest surprise for me out of the West is Houston, man. Houston is a young squad, and they are playing hungry, man. They're playing hard. They're right on the heels of taking the 3rd or possibly the 2nd seed in the West. And my Mavs are just completely decimated on injury. They might possibly get a 1 starter back at some point in time this year, and it's just going back to that Luka trade, man. Like it's just been a crazy year for Dallas, man. But I will say this one, and I did find this, and I'm not saying by any stretch that the Mavs had it right, but did you see what happened last night? Luka had 6 turnovers and had one of the worst shooting performances of his career. And on top of it, too, he came out afterwards like, I'm a little rusty. It's going to take some time, which is exactly why Dallas got rid of them, was apparently the conditioning factor. And they also have been coming out with a lot of stuff, and I think like Dallas is just kind of putting a bad name on Luka because they don't want to seem like idiots for getting rid of him. But they were also coming out saying that they had no intention on giving him that max super deal, which I'm like, I doubt that was actually true. And on top of it, too, there was another report coming out saying that he was supposed to miss 5 games in November to go get in shape because he was that out of shape. I think it's just Dallas is trying to make themselves look a little bit better for getting rid of one of the best young talents the NBA's seen in a long time. But if not, maybe they really did know something that we didn't know, and maybe it was a lot worse than we thought. I still would have loved to keep Luka. I would have never traded him, but maybe there was more to it. And Dallas is, I think if they can get a little bit healthy, they might possibly be able to make the play in. But at this point in time, I'm almost kind of like what we were saying before about De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs. Maybe just shut it down for the rest of the year, man. There's only 27 games left, or 25 games, give or take. And the only one healthy seems like right now is Kyrie. And if Kyrie's your only healthy player and reliable guy, you might got some problems going on there. But
yeah, and I will say as well with regards to Luka, though, shipping him to LA is going to be one of the best things for him, because now if there is issues with his conditioning, you've got the guy that's been basically the poster child for conditioning, cardio, efficiency. Dude's on his 21st year now. He's probably going to play 22, maybe even 23.
yeah,
Like, it would not surprise me at all. That man spends like $2 million a year taking care of his body. So, like, who better to learn from than the
someone else? I had that same conversation with a buddy of mine at work as well, and that's exactly what he said too. Is that Luka's in the best spot because if let's say has an off year this year because of the actual injury and he was a little bit out of shape. This summer, if he plays hungry, gets hungry, and doesn't eat, but you get what I mean, hungry for basketball, and LeBron's people, if not LeBron James, takes him under his wing, be like, look, this is how it's done. Then that's going to be one scary individual coming into next year. But before we get your thoughts on this real quick, USA did just score. Now it is officially 2-1. USA on top, middle of the second period. All right, G. Mike, man, what's your thoughts on the
there
West?
and shove it.
What's your thoughts on the West, Mr. G. Mike?
Dude, man, I think the West is wide open. I don't think there's really a team that can solidify right now getting to the NBA Finals, even though OKC has been playing outstanding, one of the best defensive teams in the league and one of the best offensive teams in the league as well. But mainly more on defense, but even then, they're a young team, so it's hard for me to really put my money on them to come out the West because you don't know what you're going to get from them when it comes to a 7-game series against some teams that are more experienced, like the Denver Nuggets, like if the Dallas Mavericks actually get into the playoffs, that would be a tough round for them as well. It wouldn't be easy. The Minnesota Timberwolves too. And even another dark horse for me would be the Golden State Warriors. Adding Jimmy Butler is just going to bring another aspect to their team. I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State goes on a 10-game win streak in the last half of the season. So it's like, I want to see what OKC can do with these teams. Not saying that they can't make the NBA Finals, because I do believe they can. I wouldn't put my money on them so quick. I do believe that the West is open. We were talking on the Lakers right now. Yes, it was a good move to get Luka. Is going to help out their offense, but their defense has depleted a lot, and which is why I'm worried about them. They could probably fall in from the 5th seed and probably end up in the play-in because it's so close from 4 to 10. Basically, it's all close right there. So if they keep losing games because they can't close out games because of their defense, like they did last night to the Hornets, it's going to be tough for them to get out of the play-in and try to get into the 6th seed or higher. I do like the Houston Rockets. They're a great young team. They hustle. They play hard, just like the Detroit Pistons on the other side. And they can do some work, but it's going to be tough for them because they're very inexperienced. The only one there that is experienced and is a champion is Fred VanVleet. And I don't think that he could hold the throne really like that for this season. Maybe next season or the year after that, if they stay together and they keep playing the way that they're playing, maybe they can make some runs. But I see them getting out of the first round. So for me, with the West, I think it's open. I think the top 3 teams that can actually make the NBA Finals would be OKC, the Denver Nuggets, and if the Mavericks are able to get into the playoffs, I would say them as well.
BC, man, your thoughts on the West, buddy?
And if Anthony Davis stays healthy, that's another thing. If he stays healthy.
We got a report today that Dallas got a report today that he's moving in the right direction, so we might be able to see him in another 3 weeks. So, super. Those 31 minutes was amazing for us, though. I can tell you that. So I'm super glad we got it.
Quarter was amazing.
We got that whole experience in 31 minutes of AD.
Bro, he almost had a triple-double in the first quarter. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, at least it's longer than the Jets had Rodgers last year. So just saying, man.
Yeah, true.
3 plays in, boom. As far as the West goes, though, like I agree with you, Mike. It's wide open for me. I know we talked a lot about OKC's like their lack of experience. I know that obviously you got some, experienced vets for sure with Denver, with Golden State. But I think I think Oklahoma City has learned enough from last year, and I think that they have continued to develop and grow together as a team again. Number one defense in the league right now, and that is something that I think will help them in the playoffs. As the game slow down, as it gets more grinded out, that's going to be something that plays in their favor. And I think again, they're one of the top offenses in the league to pair with that. So I think that and the lessons they learned last year will be enough to carry them over in the playoffs. It's going to be a dogfight. It's not going to be like they go like the 0-1 Lakers and go 15-1, but I definitely see them making a pass, winning some hard-fought series for sure. And I think it's their conference this year, and I think that they make it to the finals and represent the West.
Yeah, I think Houston's like a year, maybe two away. So I think it's a great story, and they're playing hard and they're playing well. I kind of can see them maybe falling to like the 6th seed or something like that, come that playoff stretch. But Houston is definitely playing impressive. We can maybe we all can pick one if you want. I'm glad you brought it up, G Mike, because that was a team I was thinking of as well, as like a dark horse that also make one of those crazy playoff runs as Golden State. I think that Jimmy Butler trade is going to work out pretty well for them. Him and Draymond, I was kind of wondering how that was going to work. Doesn't seem like it's missed a beat at all. They're embracing each other. And Steph has finally got somebody that doesn't play exactly like him. And Steph was saying that it's almost re-energizing to have a player that's not a replica of him, because when they had Steph and Clay, it was you shoot the three, I shoot the three, you shoot the three, I shoot the three, whoever's going to take the shot. This is something completely different that he's never really had in his entire career and Golden State. So he's excited. And so I think that's a team that I wouldn't want to play if they make that play-in tournament. I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run here. They have the same record as the Kings right now, so they can possibly move up to the 9 seed. They're not too far behind Minnesota. I could definitely see them making a run and possibly landing in that 5th seed, 6th seed. And if they can get something like that, they might be a team to watch out for. I don't think that they are the favorites to win the finals. I do believe in OKC. SGA is such a smooth player, and I just like the way they're constructed. I think they got a lot of really good players that they all blend together and they work really well together. They are ironically almost getting at the point though, as the old OKC, that if it doesn't work again this year, they gotta figure something out, because they've stockpiled, and at one point in time you got to start executing with these ones. And if they've had almost just like how OKC was before, have all this great talent, all these great players, and for some reason just can't get over that top. So I think their window is I'm not going to say closing because they have young talent, but you can only keep these core guys together for so long, and without winning something, you have to maybe blow something up. So I think it's going to be OKC that'll most likely end up representing the West in the finals. But I would be very scared to have to go against Golden State or even Denver. Denver, just like I was saying before, Denver just seems like one of those teams, they don't even want to be number one. They just want to grind it out, and then they
get in. All you got to do is get in.
Will beat you up, And I definitely like Denver as well. They did start off a little bit shaky this season and have seemed like they've just worked it out and gotten it together as well. And Jokic is just that dude. And I love Jamal Murray as well, man.
Yep.
You guys got any last thoughts on the West?
I would just say I'm rooting for Golden State. I'm still a Jimmy fan, so I would like to see Golden State come out the West, or even the Lakers. I'm a Bron fan. But yeah, it's wide open. Just a side note right now, because I'm looking at it. This man, Josh Giddey, right now has 25 points and 16 rebounds. This guy's going off right now. Yo, crazy.
That makes some gambling fans awful giddy. I can tell you that.
Right.
No Diddy, just
no Diddy, just Giddey.
Just no giggity. All right, fellas. Well, we're going to close out the show with one of our favorite things, and that is our this week's Down Bad Debate. And this one is a very interesting one. It's always tough to have to do these things. All right, so if you can't see it on the screen right here, you can only keep 3 right now, just right now. All right, so if you can't see it, I'll go and read them off real quick. We got Jason.
Not in their prime right now.
Right now, yeah.
Are we also doing this in light of the Wemby news? Are we saying like at full health, full strength, or just current state?
Yeah.
Let's do full strength.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you got Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, SGA, Kevin Durant, and Luka Doncic. All right, G Mike, you found this one for us, and so you go first, my man. Are you ready to Pick your three and explain it.
All right. At the 1, I got Shy. I got Shay. That boy is gonna be handling the rock. Great facilitator. He can shoot the midi. He can shoot a 3-point now too. Don't get it twisted. And he could play amazing defense, which is why the OKC are one of the top defensive teams in the league. Him leading the way. At the 2, I'll take Kevin Durant, easy money sniper. That guy's shooting it from everywhere. If you foul him, he's making every free throw, and he could play defense a little bit too. And he's 7 feet tall, so it's gonna be hard for any other person to shoot over him. And then at the 3, I'm gonna take Wemby. Great defensive monster. He could block anybody's shot, grab every single rebound, and he could also shoot the ball while having a little bag. He has a little bag in it. So got Shy, got KD, got Wemby.
Interesting. That's a unique lineup. All right, Mr. BC, you're up, buddy.
Dude, I was gonna say, man, those would be my picks exactly. But for the sake of variety, man,
don't be picking my picks.
No, I know. I'm saying that was literally the picks I was going for. But I will mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up and have some fun. So at the 1, give me Steph. You got the chef, man. You got that gravity coming in from the outside. If there's anybody that can combat Shea at that position on offense, at least, I got to give it to Steph. At the 2, go ahead and give me Luka right there. Excellent play or excellent ball handler, excellent facilitator that can kind of work well with Steph Curry. It kind of help lead the offense. So to say Curry can be majorly effective off ball, Luka's going to be a great on ball target. And then as far as in the post, if I'm going for my 3, give me Giannis, because then there's somebody that can kind of switch and be that Swiss Army knife on defense, kind of come out and guard on the perimeter, come out, can go ahead and stay in the post and defend. I got to go with Giannis right there. So Steph, Luka, Giannis, let's go.
So you're going to pick the 3 that I picked?
I know literally like when we were going through and everything, I'm like, all right, who do I want? I went with Shea, KD, and Wemby because, like you said, the length at each position combined with the fact that the two-way impact that all 3 of those guys have is amazing. But if I got to pick differently, give me Steph. If we're going draft style, give me Steph. Give me Luka. Give me Giannis.
Which is not bad. It's not bad either.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go a little bit different here. I'm going to go with SGA. I love his offensive ability, and like you said too, the kid can play defense as well. He's just smooth as hell. Got the mid-range game going. Give me Jokic because obviously he's borderline another point guard. He doesn't have the body for it. He's not going to be ball handling up the court, but the man can still pass like any other one of the best passers in the league, hands down. And he's going to get you rebounds, and if you need to, he can pull the open shot. And then we have to go with Wemby. I'm going almost borderline with 3 bigger guards in this situation because Wemby can handle the ball just as well as some of the 2s in the league. So give me SGA, give me Jokic, and give me Wemby.
So if I would take Jokic, I think the best with Jokic would be Steph because he's a great off-ball player. He's going to be running around the court the whole damn time, so Jokic could get him. Yeah, Jokic can get him open for sure. And Tatum, because Tatum is another great off-ball player. But then again, if you don't want to play off-ball and you just want to ISO, Tatum's a good ISO player. So you could just give him the ball at the top of the key.
I think Tatum is the hardest one. I think Tatum's the hardest one to combine with out of these guys because you can't put Tatum and Luka because they both play very ball dominant basketball. And Tatum, although Tatum possesses a lot of great skills, Tatum plays such a one style, and sometimes Tatum seems like he wants to be the guy, and so he'll take maybe some questionable shots sometimes, or like he settles for a 3 and because he'll dribble the ball for an hour or something. Like it would be tough to put them 2 together. I almost put SGA, Jokic, and Giannis. That would have been my second go around in here, just because Giannis is the superior defense. Good luck trying to stop him if that guy's in a train. It's almost like LeBron, but just a younger LeBron, if you will. Whenever he's going downfield, you're not going to be able to stop him. But so, just as a recap, real quick, BC, start us off. Who you got, man?
All right, I got Steph for the scoring gravity. I got Luka for the facilitating, just all around offensive ability, and then give me Giannis for the just monster defensive capabilities. Swiss Army knife on that end of the court.
All right, I'm going to go SGA for his smooth offensive and defensive paralysis. I'm going to go with Jokic just for the ball handling and be able to 3 and be able to rebound. And give me Wemby just because he's such a dominant force in the paint. Good luck trying to get into the paint with any of those guys down there, man. Mr. G, Mike, what you got?
Yeah, I got Shy too with his two-way capabilities and his facilitating skills. I got KD at the 2 with his arsenal of offense, and he could play a little bit of defense. And then Wemby with a great defensive monster. No one's going to be shooting easily over him, and he can shoot the 3-ball while still having a little back.
Took my picks.
Man, those are always such fun segments, man. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But just as another quick update, Canada just scored it up mid of the we're at 5 minutes or so to go in the second period, man. Game is far from over, folks. So
it's the game, eh?
It's been fun.
Yeah, no, it's our game, don't you know? Like, we started hockey up here, you know. And did you know also basketball? The guy that found it was a Canadian as well.
That is true.
The first NBA game was played in Canada as well.
Oh yeah, don't you know?
No wonder
we took it. We took it and made it better.
It's funny because Stephen A. Smith was saying on First Take that it's an American based sport, and it's like, well,
actually,
sometimes Stephen A. bro, you be going up on screen without knowing your facts, kid.
That's why we come and correct it from the stands, man.
Or let me not say kick. Let me say unk.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up from Views from the Stands. I am Stevie B, Steve Brennan, your host, man. And just as a simple reminder, please give us that like and subscribe. We're trying to get 100 at least and keep it moving from there, so we can move on to that 1K, if you will, man. So we got a lot of love and support out there, and thanks for everybody for checking in and giving us support out there. G, Mike, you got anything for the people, man?
Nah, man, just thank you guys for the love and support, and subscribe and like and comment and share with your friends, please.
Mr. BC, buddy, what you got?
Enjoy life, love the hills, love the valleys. No matter what you're going through, you're blessed as long as you got breath in your lungs. So just always remember that.
There we go. Nice way to end that for us.
Write a book, dude. BC the caregiver.
There we go. Yeah. All right, fellas, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys, and we really appreciate it, and we will be back next week sometime, possibly Wednesday, something like that. I'm not sure, because next Thursday, I am officially becoming an old man, so my birthday is next week, so I'm not sure what we'll be doing on that day, so we'll be definitely getting back together this week.
We got to work.
We gotta work. Yeah. I'll be doing some work. But all right, fellas, we'll appreciate all the love and support, and we are gonna go ahead and end this night. So have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. We are out.
Peace.